has adding CFT increased or changed your existing healthcare practice? From a BodyTalk practice, from people that are in BodyTalk practice, and then Kim and Christine from your own backgrounds, well, with not so much with Kim because you came in on that level, but how has adding CFT increased or changed your existing practices?
I can respond to that. So adding CFT to my BodyTalk practice, it gave me, one of the things I noticed before I was working with babies is that it gave me a tool to work on some of the things that were stubborn or stuck in my clients before that did need this unwinding. I just wasn't able to get at it in other ways. And I had studied cranial sacral therapy, and I had studied myofascial work, and I was a licensed massage therapist here in California for a number of years. So that was pretty profound. And one of the things that CFT helped me do immediately was work with people's faces better, their jaw, TMJ, issues with the teeth, with the sinuses, the relationship between the shoulder and the jaw and the head. There were just these relationships that I was able to observe and unwind that I hadn't been able to do with BodyTalk, and yet at the same time the BodyTalk and the understanding of reciprocals helped me to really implement the CFT very quickly as well. So I loved being able to have access to that because I had my own issues with my teeth coming in and wisdom teeth and the sinus issues that I ran in the family, and so CFT was really helpful with that. I had had a pretty severe concussion as a kid and had been sort of taking off layers of that with BodyTalk, but CFT took another layer of that off for me. And then the CFT also just brought in its own clients. Like most of these women have said, you just get phone calls from parents that hear about you. Sometimes it's adults wanting to come see you, but a lot of it is parents with kids that want CFT. And so that has opened up just a whole other branch of clientele. That's been really great because I get to find these people that aren't necessarily open to BodyTalk but get that body work is really going to help their child, and at the same time I get to introduce them to BodyTalk, and it creates another income stream for me. So I highly recommend it for BodyTalkers.
Yeah, Lauren, I found the exact same thing too. Like people were very willing to come in and have body work and bring their kids for CFT. And then once they got in there and I was doing CFT, I'd say, and there's this other thing that I do called BodyTalk, and they said, well, yes, of course, we want to try that too, whatever you can do. But they got in the door because they wanted to have, the body work, fascial unwinding done.
Nice. Fantastic. Lauren, actually, as far as working with the fascia, a lot of the questions that I've been asked here by South African body talkers is how is this now different to like Kerry's fascial balancing seminar and Lynn's structural integration, also in bringing in the fascial work. How does this differ?
Well, I haven't done Lynn's structural integration class, but I did I studied the fascial work and some of the cranial release with Kerry years ago, and I would say that was my foundation for studying Dr. Gillespie's work, that it taught me, I started to get my hands on those cranial bones and in the fascia and started to understand it and learn to listen to it and feel it, and so I would say they just absolutely work beautifully together. If you've taken Lynn or Kerry's class, absolutely take CFT. Barry will show you this whole other way of balancing the relationship of the cranial bones and the fascia and really working deep with
oh dear, it looks like we lost Lauren. We'll wait for her to come back on there. So do your existing, for Lauren and Holly, you already said that your existing clients, the BodyTalk people that were coming to you and find out that you do CFT, obviously they're very open to that and request that you do those sessions with them as well?
Well, yes, of course. I mean, as far as BodyTalk goes, we have the brilliant way of being able to ask what's a priority. So after I came home and started practicing CFT, then I was just able to ask, with active memories and bringing in the other links of BodyTalk, how do we need to link this up to the CFT unwinding? So just a very simple example for body talkers would be when we do the SB release in BodyTalk. What I started finding out was I would ask Innate, do I do the SB, and do I need to actually do the CFT unwind with SB? So that was one of the, like some of the different techniques. We can take it a little bit further with the unwind there. And then I would also ask, of course, with Innate, you're asking what's a priority. So that's the brilliant thing about, weaving CFT into BodyTalk, is that the innate wisdom is going to tell you what's a priority. Do I need to unwind this? Or, do I need to do some BodyTalk links first and then unwind? So that's, and maybe Lauren can add, how she uses it as well.
Yeah, we got you back. We lost you there for a couple of seconds.
About that. Yeah, how I use it, same as Holly. I'm always asking Innate, are we beginning with craniofacial therapy or BodyTalk? And you're just sort of doing this dance with the two throughout the treatment. And then sometimes if I am booked just for craniofacial therapy, like with a baby, for example, I start with that, but I'll see pop-ups of BodyTalk links. And so if that's happening, I'm explaining to the parents what I'm seeing. And often what I'm observing from a BodyTalk standpoint are what I consider are active memories. So I tell the parents, do you hear how the baby's cry is changing right now? What emotion do you hear in that? And they say, oh, the baby sounds angry. They sound pissed. And I'm like, yeah, there's some emotional release of anger happening as we're doing this. And then I say, oh, you see this posture and how what does this look like? Oh, this looks like the birth canal. And, do you feel what's going on here, that there's some fear, and how this is actually releasing around the kidneys. So this is going to help. So I feel that the more trainings you do with the CFT and BodyTalk and Carrie's work and Lynn's work, it gives you the language to talk to your clients, because you can be an amazing practitioner. And what's interesting is recently with a client, I had this new client, and she had someone practicing craniosacral therapy, and the mother was upset because she felt like the therapist wasn't explaining what she's doing. And it can be very scary to see the unwindings of children, because like Christine talked about, they're really dramatic. And I'm so glad that Christine is teaching this additional class for babies and infants. And after the next CFT class in LA in September, I want her to come out and do that class as well. But you really need language, whether you're working with babies or infants or children or adults, to be able to explain to people what's happening. And the CFT and the BodyTalk, it gives you a really comprehensive way of describing the anatomy, the physiology, as well as sort of the emotional, like this time element that's playing out. We're releasing you here in March of 2015, but what we're actually releasing is something from 2002 or from, anyway. So it's very interesting.